America is so sick of you telephone scammers, you telemarketing scammers, you email scammers, you text scammers. It is time that we get rid of you. So this is a magnanimous problem that America is dealing with right now. And I'm gonna give everyone watching this video something free. We've spent 3 years putting this together. Literally, it came to fruition for us last week. For those of you that don't know, we are in the security business. And we really do everything related to security, not only from your personal information security, but your personal surrounding space security, your home, and also business security. But there's a lot of things today that are facets of security that people do not talk about. And I want to talk about, actually, I'm going to tell you a story that happened to my family, a couple stories. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you how to get this Black Book of Scams. We'll go through this in just a second. We're going to give this to you free. It's no commitment of any kind whatsoever, in fact. And it is the top 11 ways to scam people out of their hard-earned retirement savings, money, information, your social security number, all those types of things. But before I get to this, and I am going to get to this, my mother just turned 80 the end of last month. And she's a wonderful lady. She has dementia. Unfortunately, it's a cruel disease, and your analytical skills kind of start going away. And so for the last 5 years, about 5, maybe 6 years, we've been dealing on and off with different types of phone scammers calling her. And she did at least have enough recall to call me and to call her financial advisor and say, hey, somebody's got my social security number. I'm supposed to put in this information on my phone for my social security number. They've stolen it. The Social Security Administration does not text you or call you. They're going to send you a letter first. And if you're, my age, I'm still older, but if you're my age, you may recognize those things a little bit easier. But we literally, for the last 5 years, we've dealt with people trying to do car scams with her, trying to say they're going to send her a check. They just need a deposit first. They need some type of payment for the delivery of the check. I can't even begin to tell you all of the things that have happened to my mother. And don't think that in the database of information in this world out there that these scammers don't know a lot about your demographic, your age, your race, your ethnicity, the things that you're interested in. And I will tell you, that's not profiling for me. That is just simply as at certain ages, at certain ethnicities, male, female, those are the two pronouns that I know of. Those things, people absolutely understand that you're more interested in certain things than others. They're able to pull your information off of a list. Because I've been in marketing now for years, I literally understand where people can go to certain databases, get your age, your health, your interests, your hobbies. That information exists on you. Promise you. So maybe I should do another video at some point to explain to you who some of those companies are and where you get them. But just trust me, your information is readily available to those that know how to get it. Now, there are certain things that are supposed to be a little more proprietary, a little more secret, like your social security number. Those things are hard to get, but they're out there. Second story. Years ago, I used to work for Anheuser-Busch. I'm talking years ago when I was a kid. I was 23, maybe 23 years old. I worked at Busch Gardens down in Tampa, Florida. I hadn't worked there. Let's see, where was I? Where was I living when I got the call? Has it been something living here? I'm not going to tell you exactly how old I am. 22, but 30. It had been more than 20 years since I had worked for Anheuser-Busch, or about 20 years. My information still resided on their database somewhere. And someone was able to hack into Anheuser-Busch. They were able to get my information. Anheuser-Busch, I don't really know how they tracked me down, but somehow they got my information. I was no longer living in Florida. And they gave me like a year's worth of LifeLock, or something like LifeLock, some type of monitoring service, some type of credit history monitoring service. So that was their, I guess, their cover their butt, CYA, cover your butt. kind of way of trying to make sure that if my information was compromised, that since my information was compromised, that nobody could use it. Well, that doesn't really tell you that nobody's able to use it. And a year or two's worth of LifeLock really honestly does not do you any good. The problem is that once somebody has gotten that information, they have it forever. And my understanding is, I'm going to tell you how I understand this a little bit better, but my understanding is that you may not know that your information has been stolen for 5 to 10 years. It depends on how long somebody wants to sit on that information, or until they have a buyer for that information, or until they have a use for that information. You say, well, who's going to have a use for my information 10 years from now? Somebody wants a bank account. You got a good credit history. Somebody knows you have a 800 credit score. They may decide they want to use that. They may decide to open up a bank account in your name. I'll tell you a couple of practical things that you can do. This is going to be a very short video compared to what it should be. Like, this is probably an hour-long topic. However, go to the credit reporting companies, okay? And I'll post those below. Go to those credit card companies and freeze your credit information. Make sure that no accounts can be opened up in your name or with your social security number. Freeze them. Go to all of them, and there's 3 main ones. Go to them and freeze them. That will put a lot of stop to what people can do. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's secondary and smaller places where they cannot open up accounts, but that's one thing that you need to do. If you're dealing with a senior or you're dealing with too many calls, I've tried now several services. I now have a text service that I use. I'm going to share that in another video, but I have a text service that I'm testing now to respond to phone calls and to respond to text messages. So callers in have to verify who they are. And that's a great thing. Now, robocaller. You can also, through Verizon, I don't know about Sprint or AT&T or some of the other secondary cell phone companies. You can also go to Verizon and you can turn on some services that will eliminate some of the robocalls and some of the intrusive things that keep. I know everybody's heard this. I know everyone watching this video has heard this. We're calling about your car warranty. This is dealer services. Hey, we have a report that your credit card interest rate can be lowered. I mean, how many times has Kathy from Dealer Services called you? The best thing that could happen to these robocallers, here's the best thing that could happen. Get them convicted and let every single old person who's been scammed by them get their cane or whatever they want to have and beat them to a pulp one by one over and over and over again for stealing their hard-earned money, for stealing their cash. It's just sad. There's a lot of stories out there, y'all, that are really, really bad. This is a serious problem. But here's what we've been working on for 3 years, and here's why I'm doing this video. Here's why I have a heart for people, okay? I don't love everybody. Some people are real compassionate like they love everybody. I just hate injustice, and I hate seeing people be treated unjustly. So that's the direction that I come from. And mine is, man, if there's an injustice, let's go figure it out. Do I want to tell this organization's name? No, I'm not going to tell the organization's name. There's a very large gun organization in the United States that we had a discussion with about a partnership. I'm glad today that we did not do that partnership. But it is the largest gun organization of its type in the world. And what they wanted to do was they wanted to make us an affiliate partner for security services through their business. Now, what they came and asked me for, I was a little unclear of because they really didn't know how to define it. But they wanted to essentially offer identity theft for all of their members, all of their subscribers. And asked me if I could provide the service because at that time I had a very minimal offering. And through a year of defining the process and through a year of working through that with them, we withdrew from working with them. But what happened is we were forced to look at identity theft in a way we had never, ever looked at it before. So being in the security business, the thing that I've been, let's call me a professional. There's nobody who knows everything about the industry, but what I have been the most engaged in is how do we protect your home, family, assets, surroundings? How do we keep people out of your space, right? Well, part of your space is your information too. You have an informational space. You have an information footprint out there on that information highway. Believe me, if you've been on a phone or you've been on a computer, even if you haven't been on there, I'm a subcontractor for the FBI. That's the only way that I'll let you know the other thing that I do for a living. But I promise you, you have a file, you have a database on everything from your credit history to your health history. It's out there and it's available. I don't tell too much. But anyway, there's a lot of things that I do that are all related to the security industry that I can't really talk about. But I will tell you, having to have a closer look at identity theft put me in shock. I have a friend who is a security specialist, network security. And we did a little interview. It's on my YouTube channel. You can find it somewhere. But he explained to me how many breaches of information there were every year now, like an astronomical amount. You are 10 times more likely to have your credit card number, your social security number, some part of your personal information stolen, 10 times more likely than you are to have your home broken into. That's a huge problem. And if you have your home broken into, the worst thing that could happen would be bodily harm or bodily injury. And that's bad, right? 40% of home break-ins that happen when somebody's home end in bodily injury or death. That's a big number. That's when somebody's home. But the financial problem when somebody breaks in your home is actually a lot less for most folks unless you've got $500,000 sitting in a safe at your house. It is more damaging to you and more damaging to your family quite often if somebody is able to get your credit information or your social security number and open accounts. It destroys your credit history. It destroys your information out there, and it takes years to clean up. Absolutely years to clean up. And you need to hear what I'm saying, please. Please hear what I'm saying. We have seen so many people. A personal friend of mine a couple of weeks ago had a breach of her accounts, or her account information, had accounts opened up in her name. She's trying to clean that up. She now has one of our services. There's another lady who came in to get a background check with us, and she was registered. Her name was registered in the state of Wyoming as a sex offender. Well, she's not a sex offender. We still don't know today whether or not that was mistaken identity, a duped identity. She said she had no idea how her name was attached to that. So your information out there is critical. So back to the Black Book of Scams. I don't care if you are a customer of mine or ours or not. Our company has been protecting people now for almost 20 years, 18 and a half years. We have no dings on the Better Business Bureau. I think we've taken as good a care of people as we possibly can. But there are 11 top scams. There are 11 top scams that are mentioned in this book. And I'm going to scroll down just to read you some of the highlights of these because I had no idea that these even, like some of these even existed. I cannot go through the details because, again, this video would take an hour to do. I mean, literally, it would take an hour to go through just all of the different categories. But let me come down. Okay, chapter 10 up. Oh, here we go. 987654321. Okay. Credit, debit, and loan scams is first on the list. Second on the list is golden age scams. And I'm hoping you all can read this. We got a little bit bigger monitor. We're still working on some more studio stuff. So just know that's golden age scams. There's a lot of those up there. My mom had to deal with several. Food and counterfeit drug scams. It's not necessarily your personal information, but there's a lot of things out there that they're trying to sell you on the internet or through text messaging it's fraud. Chapter 4 is identity theft scams, which is what we're talking about right now, which is absolutely huge. There's money-making scams on here that people try to suck you into, and they steal your money, steal your information. I have fun with them. Sometimes I'll get a call or I'll get a text, and the text will be like a bank that I don't bank with. Hey, this is bank you don't bank with, and please, your account's been breached. Log into your, be an idiot. Log into your account. By the way, if you get an email asking you to log in, most people are like, oh my gosh, Bank of America, somebody has breached my account. Scroll to the top of the email. Look at who the email is from. If it does not end in bankofamerica.com, it ain't Bank of America. It may be like info-Bank of America. That's not Bank of America. Be smart. Be calm. Don't freak out and go, oh my God, I got to log in. I've been breached. Because then what's going to happen is you're looking at a false site. You're putting your information on something where they're going to capture your username and they're going to capture your login information because you're going to give it to them. And then guess what? They've got access to your account. Oh, and if you have a third-party verification, if you have a way on your bank accounts, Social Security accounts, software accounts, computer accounts, Facebook accounts, social media accounts, put a third-party verification on it. If you don't know what that is, the easiest one is if they ask you, do you want to put a third-party verification on? Hit yes. Use your cell phone for a text. So you put your username and your password, then it sends you a text and makes you put in that 6-digit, 4-digit code into the space so you can log in. I know it's a pain in the butt, but it does protect your information. Protects your login. Bank of America's not going to email you from Joe Schmo at moparproducts.com. Just anyway. Investment scams. Particularly still with old people. It happens a lot. Foreign exchange scams. We've all gotten the email, I'm the Prince of Zaire and I have $400 million we need to spend. And be smart. Chapter 7. Lottery, sweepstakes, prizes, fake check scams. My mother got hit by this about 5 times. She never fell prey to it, but only because she was at least calling me and her financial advisor. Poor guy. Thank you, Rich, by the way. Appreciate that. Chapter 8, scams of the heart. Now, I don't understand this, because I am not a super compassionate person. I believe in justice and injustice being taken care of. So, but it's scams of the heart. Pet adoption, romance scams, sextortion scams. A lot of children fall prey to that. And charity scams. 9, technology-enabled scams. And this is kind of what we were talking about, phishing scams. When you get an email like that, that's a phishing scam. Chapter 10, imposter scams. See, IRS mentioned on this one as well. Chapter 11, self-help resource guide. So there's fraud alerts, credit freezes, those types of things. Don't let anybody else do that for you. You do that yourself. You log into those agencies and you do that yourself. Don't let somebody help you. Help you out of all your money is what they're going to do. So here's what I want to end with. And by the way, if you are scamming our old people or you're scamming Americans, man, I hope you get what's coming to you. I hope you get the justice that's due you piece of crap. Spend most of my life now. Well, not most of my. I've spent a large portion of my life trying to help take care of people and protect people. And to have you pieces of crap call, email, text, and try to steal hard-earned Americans' money, you have a special place in Hades. That's what you have. So look, here's what I want you to do. Down below, I am going to give you a link and a number. You can either email us through that link or you can text the number. If you text the number, just text in info. Okay? I'm sorry. Scratch that. Text in scam info. On the number below, text in scam info. When that comes to us, we will text you back how to get this PDF file, because it's too large to send through a text. It's not on the FTP site. We will email you this copy of this PDF. No, this is not a scam, by the way. This will be great information for you. If you've got an older person, you got a loved one, you got a spouse that's likely to do something stupid on phone calls or emails that come in, read this together. There's some wonderful information here. Again, below there's going to be a telephone number you can You can text the telephone number, and there's also a link to email address. You can email there and just type in scam info, and we will send you this PDF. It's free. I mean, no charge. I don't care if you're a customer or not. You need this information. I hope this helps. We're going to come back and probably cover some more of these topics later in depth, because again, these are potentially very long topics, and you're just going to click me off. Hey, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to bring you the best information I can, give you free stuff if I can. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Be careful.